Rachel Maddow. Rachel Maddow. She is still doing what she does, and that is shilling for the Democratic Party. This is what Maddow said recently, that I don't know if it went viral, but it should have went viral, considering what she's saying here. Right here. This is Maddow.
Elon Musk has apparently somehow convinced the United States government, specifically the United States Department of State, that the taxpayers of the United States of America should spend $400 million buying, quote, armored Tesla production units. Isn't it great and definitely not at all illegal or profoundly corrupt? Definitely not ripping us all off to pay themselves.
Now, to be very clear, part of Democrat strategy going forward apparently has to do with this idea of President Musk, that they are going to focus all of their energies on Elon Musk. That seems to be Democratic playbook going forward. People like me think this is absurd. Will this work? Who knows? Should it work? No. But this is what they're going with. So this is the argument that she's making. $400 billion, armored Teslas. And obviously, because it's Tesla, we're talking about Elon Musk. And because we're talking about Elon Musk, we're talking about Donald Trump. And her point here is, this is a scam, that this is a payoff. You're effectively giving him $400 billion for Teslas. All right. Problem with this is going to be revealed at the end of this clip. Let's go back to the clip. I want to play it out.
That's right.
Donald Trump didn't give that contract to Elon Musk. Joe Biden gave it to him.
Right there. It wasn't even given by Elon Musk. It was given by Joe Biden. Trump put a freeze on that contract, and he put a freeze on the contract on some level, I would imagine, because it's not necessarily in his best interest to have what seems to be a payoff. I'm pointing out that she is pointing to something that ultimately came out of the Joe Biden administration. He's right here. I think this is Waters. He's perfectly right. They are running with this notion that we now need to focus on Elon Musk as President Musk. And that by using this, we are going to somehow do something. I imagine that something being, we're going to take back power, we're going to take back control, we're going to humiliate Donald Trump and Musk. Donald Trump is a petty man. And if people are saying that it's President Musk, he may respond in some way to undercut Musk, which will undercut his own administration. I think that's the logic that they're going with. Does it work? Is the question. Especially when Maddow is out here just making shit up. Because that's what she just did. Either she didn't know, and maybe she took it as this is happening. But even if you think about it in the terms of, okay, this is very quick, that Trump gets in, Musk gets in, and immediately Donald Trump is giving something within, the first week that they were involved? No, this was under the Biden administration. So whatever take that Musk is Maddow is trying to make here falls apart. And I get the sense that all of them are doing this. I just watched, what is his name? What is his name? He's a Republican on MSNBC. And he goes into this long tirade about Elon Musk. And again, as I point out, they seem to have come to the assessment that Donald Trump's weak spot is Musk. I don't know if they're right. But I want to bring in Peter Coffin. I'm going to play this clip again for Peter, just because, it's good that he can see the clip that I'm going to ask him about. But Peter Coffin, journalist with over 250,000 YouTube subscribers, podcaster, and author. In their book, Custom Reality and You, they explore a world where profit is the driving force. Peter, my man, how you doing today? You doing all right?
I'm doing well. How about yourself, Jamal?
I'm alive. I'm here. I'm kicking ass. I'm still kicking. Despite all of this,
or still kicking, at least.
At least I'm trying to. So I want to play this clip to you by Vince. And I'm going to play another clip to you also, because Democrats have seemed to take in the position that the weak spot in Trump's administration is Elon Musk, that the public either won't accept what Musk is doing in regards to Doge, that they'll overreach, or that I strongly think that part of it is we believe that Donald Trump is so petty that if we're focusing on Elon Musk as if he's President Musk, that we can somehow undercut his administration. This is They seem to have come up with nothing else of substance, in the sense of what does the Democratic Party stand for? What are they looking towards in order to kind of represent and be? Those things seem to be off the table. It's about feels. I'm going to show you the Hakeem Jeffries thing where he said it's about feels when he was talking to Jon Stewart. But this is Maddow talking about 400, I think it was billion, it might be million, to Elon Musk for armored Teslas.
Elon Musk has apparently somehow convinced the United States government, specifically the United States Department of State, that the taxpayers of the United States of America should spend $400 million buying, quote, armored Tesla production units. Isn't it great and definitely not at all illegal or profoundly corrupt? Definitely not ripping us all off to pay themselves, right?
Donald Trump didn't give that contract to Elon Musk. Joe Biden gave it to him.
Elon Musk has apparently...
Okay, that's damning and humiliating. That's damning and humiliating, right?
If that
It's
was
like
the
you go on
first
this-
thing that, if that was the first thing that Rachel Maddow got wrong on that level, though, I wish that we could say, like, okay, so Tesla, which one of the libs' primary criticisms of is that they've accepted tons of government money over the last decade. Suddenly, they're like, oh, it's just like, no, why would that be? It's on its face stupid because he's been so obviously subsidized for the last decade.
Yes. It's like whether it was money for SpaceX, whether it's money for Tesla, the U.S. government has a direct interest in getting these technologies and being intimately entangled in these technologies.
Absolutely.
Meaning this is not a new thing. Like this notion that they now care about Elon Musk is just astonishing. This is Michael Steele. Michael Steele is doing the same shit.
He's really gone off. I used to like him.
Well, he is doing the same shit. He is on page and on message. The issue is Elon Musk.
What would you have us do?
I would actually, you know what? I just like you to show that you give a damn, that you got a little emotion about the fact that people are losing their jobs indiscriminately. That this individual sitting down in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue has given absolute power to one man who brings his son into the Oval Office, whose son says to him, "You're not the president. You shouldn't be in that chair." Now, where did he get that from? He got it from his daddy, because that's what his daddy thinks of the man who brought him into the Oval Office. So I just like to see somebody wake the hell up and get excited about the fact that your country is under assault. They're not at the gate anymore. They're in your bedrooms. They're in your living rooms. They're in your businesses. They got your data, dumbass. They got all your stuff. Elon Musk has his tentacles in everything you're doing, not just off of X, but now he's in the Treasury Department. He's in the Labor Department. He's in the Department of Homeland Security. And nobody seems to give a damn. So that's all I want, somebody to show that they care enough to get off their fat ass and say something about it.
They don't get it. They just don't get it. I am so annoyed at that.
He's got the color scheme going. He's got.
No, go ahead. I'm just saying they don't get it. Like look, man, you have to win elections, and elections have consequences. All things being equal, as they should. It's an election.
Yeah.
It's the public choosing what they want and what they don't want. It's not that I disagree with the substance. Fair enough. I accept the substance. I don't like these people losing their jobs. I don't like Elon Musk being anywhere near the Treasury Department. But
absolutely,
but what people are looking for is a cohesive take on what the Democratic Party stands for. And it seems that for the last several years, what they've standed for was we're just against Trump, which means it's entirely relative. It's not like you have a value set that you're standing for and representing and fighting over. And yeah, you may lose in a race, which means the American public is not accepting a value set, or at least not accepting your argument in regards to what they want. What they are doing is continuing this thing of the issue is Trump. The issue is Trump. The issue is now Elon. The issue is now Elon. As opposed to, this is what we represent. This is what we are. This is what we stand for. Here's a cohesive vision of our view of the world going forward. That's not what they're doing. And so it's like, okay, dude, I accept what you're saying, that I don't like this stuff, but you haven't given me anything that you represent to give me a contrary view of reality. You're just complaining. They don't seem to get that message. It is the most aggravating thing in the world to me that they're continuing with this. Even though, yeah, fair enough, you may be right on what you're saying, but you are taking a political tack to deal with the situation of Trump being in power, as opposed to coming up with a strategic, cohesive version and view of the world that you yourselves represent, that the American public can get behind. That part is entirely lacking. At least that's my take on it. Give me your take on this, Peter.
I have to agree on that very much. Like there is that you can't define yourself entirely in opposition to somebody that you claim has no values or ideas of its own. Like that is an absurd prospect. The idea, like, because they've claimed so many times this man has no ideas or values of his own. So how do you define yourself in opposition to that without any values or ideas of your own? It's an absurd prospect. It's a branding like faux pas to say the least possible powerful word. If you were a marketer, you would be like, no, let's not do it that way. Let's do it a different way. But beyond that, you know, this isn't a new strategy. It's a strategy that has caused them to lose to Trump both times. Like, that's all they've done the whole time. It's Trump bad, and now Elon bad, which they've done since Elon decided to buy Twitter, basically.
Yes.
And it's just it's so empty and useless. And like the idea, oh, Elon's got your data. Oh, and Zuckerberg doesn't. And like you forget, like we're well aware of the State Department and various deep state organizations, the FBI, CIA, having connections with all of these social networks and basically dictating what they do. You think that both sides of that equation don't have your data? Like that's just it's on its face absurd to single out one of them and be like, he's got your data. No, they all have your data. The problem is that they all have our data. Yes, I agree, but you're not using it in that way. It's not a problem until the person you don't like, the person you want to win against, has your data. That's the only time it's a problem. And so to me, it's another thing where they expose themselves as massive hypocrites with no ideas or anything of their own. Like, believe me, I think that there is a way that all of what is being done right now could be done better. The fact is, Michael Steele, however, I do think is very wrong about the idea that we need to care about this stuff primarily from a position of we don't want people to lose their jobs. I don't want people to lose their jobs. I don't look at this unempathetically. But the thing is, when people are voting, they aren't voting about their own jobs. They aren't voting about their own, or sorry, they are voting about their own jobs. They are voting about their own taxes. They are voting about what they have. And if that is in opposition to federal employees keeping their jobs, federal employees with what they might define as bullshit jobs, jobs that are there for no reason, that are just sucking up money for no reason, I don't think people, like, they might be empathetic towards the situation itself, but they've been living that situation themselves.
Right.
They've been on the chopping block in a way that these federal employees, as much as I do care about those people and I don't want them to be on the chopping block, you're ultimately saying to these voters, I want you to not care about the chopping block that you're already on. And I want you to care about the federal employees who Elon Musk, whether you like the way he's doing it or not, is doing something that is necessary. I don't know that I agree with everything that he's cutting. In fact, I don't agree with cutting the Department of Education, for instance. But
or Medicaid.
Yeah. Like there's absolutely things that, you know, I think that there are a lot of arguments to make that are he's cutting the incorrect things. But that doesn't change the fact that he's the first person since Clinton to be doing this level of work on the budget. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can credit Trump for that. There's a lot of people who would say, well, Elon's taking control, and they're trying to use this, I think, to bait Trump into
I think so
saying
too.
thing- to
And
say,
by the way,
to say
Department
anti-Elon
of
stuff.
Defense, even the Department of Defense, because apparently Doge is going to the Department of Defense is going to start cutting there also, which every lefty in the world should applaud, because that is indeed one of those sacred ponies that doesn't seem to ever get cut, can't pass an audit, but save its life, and yet spends gobs amount of money that is often just in the black. So if Musk is also going to go to the Department of Defense and go cut, good.
I agree.